Good morning, everyone. We got the teal vibes going on the studio this week. Small vlog week last week, but we're just getting in the groove of things. We're getting in the flow. Sunday, it is an American holiday tomorrow, but this time, thankfully, we finished all the homework and actually unlocked the new lessons, so we're gonna stay on schedule with the vlog, with Sunday Funday, and all that kind of good stuff. Today, mostly, I am going to be working on my mentor track. That's the vibe on Sunday, January 17th. All right, we're going to get to work. Welcome back to another episode of Sunday Funday. We are on Unit 3 of Level 2. So Week 3, Unit 3, Level 2. I don't know why there's got to be so many different names, but anyways. So we do this segment because it sets us up for the week. We know what to expect, we know what's to come, we can plan our week accordingly. Around here, we don't get a case of the Mondays because we start our week on Sunday. Let's do this! Unit 3, Fear, Filters, Gain Staging, and Metering, Progression. Okay, so we are starting off with Art of Flow, my personal favorite class of Icon and part of my top 3 Icon favorite experiences. Did he say that? I don't know. In this lesson, you will explore how fear can block your creativity and how to deal with and get beyond them. Coming over to the left here, we have common fears, then a video on the impulse thought process, another video on fear and creativity, and then opinions, acting out of one's center, brills on the opinions of others, a video on gratitude, and then class notes, and what is your greatest fear? Then we hop back into our synthesis lessons. In this synthesis lesson, you will explore how to use audio filters such as those found on a subtractive synth. So, synthesis video on filter types, key following, filters, identifying filter types, gain staging and metering, gain staging basics, pre and post processing, metering, distortion, and then the class notes, gain staging and metering, and then a project on metering. Then we move on to keys, which it looks like we have quite a few keys classes this unit, starting with progressions, the concept of progressions, example chord progressions, storytelling, root motion, common tones, hop chord progression example, and then the class notes on progressions, and then a project on chord progressions. And then of course we end with a playing assignment, and this time we are doing Ain't No Sunshine. Yeah, this is a big week, and we're back to Art of Flow. In case you didn't know, Art of Flow actually used to be taught at the very end of the entire course, and they've kind of completely redone the layout of things to try and make it flow better and spread things out in a way that kind of introduces you to these concepts over time, which I kind of appreciate because the classes we've had for Art of Flow so far have been absolutely amazing. And that is it for Sunday Funday. Right away, we are starting tomorrow with arranging our mentor track. That's what we're doing this morning, and just got a really cool baseline idea that I'm trying to implement, but what I'm finding is I am getting back stuck in the loop. So I gotta break free of that, maybe go take a listen to some reference tracks, try to get a framework going in my head. That's what we're on this morning. Then this afternoon, we will be jumping right into those Art of Flow classes. So looking forward to that. And that'll pretty much be the day. Yeah, we're just gonna keep going. We're just gonna keep grinding on with this. Actually, it's not even a grind. It's actually super exciting. I'm really loving this track. Up next will be Mental Health Monday. All right. We are in the little zen corner of the studio where my couch is, and we got our cool Philips Hue light, some green tea, and we keep our Goriella vinyl. Welcome back to another episode of Mental Health Mondays. Now, this Mental Health Monday, I just wanted to talk briefly about a couple of the disorders that I have been diagnosed with. The first being adjustment disorder, which is defined as a group of symptoms such as stress, feeling sad or hopeless, and physical symptoms that can occur after you go through a stressful life event. The symptoms occur because you are having a hard time coping. Your reaction is stronger than expected for the type of event that occurred. I was diagnosed with this around the time that my grandmother passed away. And yeah, it was because I was having a really, really hard time adjusting back into a military lifestyle after going through something really traumatic, and also it kind of really jeopardized my sobriety at the time. So I had to actually go back and get more help because things were going downhill really, really, really fast. Another, I guess this one's not really a disorder, but from a psychiatrist, I was basically told I have an anxious personality type. And so I've shared in a previous vlog that sometimes what happens if you don't get any kind of help or intervention is you carry with you the coping mechanisms that you developed as a child into your adulthood, but now that you're responsible for yourself and your actions and your behavior, when you're faced with a situation that feels similar, you react in a similar way, which is really unhealthy for you as an adult. And oddly enough, I guess, part of adjustment disorder is the same as stress, right? So getting stressed out about things out of my control, or things that I thought were going to happen that don't, or unexpected things that come up. So, I mean, it all definitely falls under the adjustment thing, but it definitely shows up huge as anxiety. And then lastly, obviously, as I shared before, alcohol and drug addiction. And I'm in recovery for that. And I work on all of it really on a daily basis. So yeah, connection, seeing a therapist, that has been the biggest help. I'll tell you another little story. This goes back to me talking about my grandmother who passed away. So my grandmother who passed away actually took me in around the age of 10, and in a lot of ways really saved my life. Well, it was her and my grandfather. They both took me in, but I've always had a really, really deep connection with my grandmother, whose name is Ruth. She got sick. She had a stroke and she didn't recover. Here's 2 lessons that really stick out regarding her death and how it affected me. So this one time, we're in the hospital, and she wanted to go get a Tim Hortons. She wanted to go get a coffee, which is in the bottom floor of the hospital. So we get I get her all ready, tell the nurses where we're going, blah, blah, blah. We get to the elevator, we get in, I'm wheeling her in her wheelchair. She has like an IV thing as well, so we're dragging that around. And yeah, so we get into the elevator, we start going down, all of a sudden just elevator stops. And I remember this like it was yesterday. I look over and I go, "Oh my God, Grandma, the elevator just stopped. What do we do?" And she looks over at me like, She didn't know what was going on. And so all of a sudden I realized, oh my God, she's not gonna be able to be there for me. I have to take care of myself now. And lesson number 2, and this is the biggest one of all. I decided that I would come from Vancouver Island, which is like an 1.5-hour ferry ride and about an hour drive. I would go visit her every single week that I was off because I was a shift worker. And I would attempt to pay her back for taking me in all those years ago. And that's what I did. Every single week I went there to visit her until she passed away. And after she passed away, things went really downhill for me. And here's the silver lining in all this. I went back and got as much help as the military could offer me. I was in the right place at the right time, extremely lucky, extremely privileged. And so through me getting this help, I realized I cannot stay in the military. The culture, the way that things are run, my disorders, triggering them all the time. And of course, this whole time, I've started taking music production seriously. And so that becomes my saving grace. And around that time, I decide I should go to a school because I really need help becoming like the best producer I possibly can. And so it was through getting that help, that extra help that I needed, through that whole experience, I realized that music was my true passion, my true calling, and it was there for me at a time that I needed it the most. And around that time is when I discovered Icon Collective. When I was younger, I would have never thought in a million years that the person I was closest to dying could be the silver lining to me finding my path, finding where I truly wanted to go. But because of a shift in mentality, because of consistently working on myself over the years, I was able to turn that tragic situation, which this is not to say that it's not heavy, but I see kind of a higher purpose, and I can honor her by pursuing my dreams and not having to have my illnesses, my disorders be my whole identity. That I am something so much more deeper and significant than those disorders or even what I choose to be. So I just thought I would share that story. Wanted to get a little more personal, tell you a bit more about what I'm dealing with and what I've gone through, and share a little bit of hope that, if you're going through the same thing or something similar, there is hope, there is help, and you can get through it and get on the other side. That'll be it for Mental Health Monday today. All right, Tuesday morning, part of the new schedule is yoga Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8 a.m. with Brooke, and she actually is now teaching 4 different yoga classes a week, Tuesday, Thursday, as I said, and then Wednesdays at 3 and Fridays at 4.
Just begin to scan down your body as you continue to deepen your awareness and deepen your breath. Notice if you're storing any sort of tension throughout your body.
All right, we are just about to jump in with our Mentor Tuesdays. Mentor Tuesdays, does that rhyme? Monday, Mentor, Tuesday, Mentor Tuesdays, sure. Jumping in with Paul Laski, our mentor for quarter 2, and we are gonna go over our weekly track, and I will let you know how it goes right after this. My mentor session went really well. Yeah, we went over my mentor track for this week, and I got a lot out of it. One thing that he touched on was that I'm being way too hard on myself. I was talking about basically like what the next step would be for where the track's at now. And I said, yeah, because this track's probably only like, 50, 30, 20% done. And he goes, 50% done? Like, no, I would say this track is more like 80% done. All the elements are in the right places. The story, the message is getting across. I mean, aside from mixing and a few tweaks, what more do you really need to do? I sat there kind of thinking to myself about what is it that I normally add to tracks when I think I'm only 50% done and my mentor is saying I'm more like 80% done. It kind of tells me that I'm doing things that are unnecessary to the track and wasting a lot of time. Well, we're stepping out. We did a ton today. Did all of our Art of Flow classes, did therapy, did mentor session. We absolutely killed it today. So we are going to head out a little bit early. This morning, we're getting right into our classes, learning about synthesis and different filter types that help you do subtractive synthesis. Really loving these synthesis lessons so far. It's definitely a slow, gradual learning process, which is exactly what I need. Building that strong producing foundation. Let's get on it. Welcome back to another episode of WIP Wednesday. WIP stands for Work in Progress, and this is where I show you the music that I'm working on behind the scenes. We're switching things up. We are doing a switch up here. Because my mentor this quarter has me doing a track a week, meaning coming up with basically the full idea as well as a skeleton arrangement. And trust me, other producers, when I say once you have the arrangement down and you see the track kind of, take its shape, take its form, it really honestly feels like you don't have that much more to do. It's so easy to get stuck in that 8-bar loop and just perfect that little tiny section, but when you actually kind of spread things out and you stop producing from top to bottom, you start producing from left to right, it makes a really, really big difference. Here we are with my track that I have named Dream On, Little Dreamer, and I adore this track. So I'm going to show you bits and pieces of it, and then I'll let the main section kind of take you away. that is it for the new rendition of Whip Wednesday. If you're watching this and you're kind of like, well, okay, I understand you did this in a week, but I'd really love to see you break down what you do step by step, leave a comment below and let me know.